Hey everyone, Model Man Frank here. Long time no see. Just wanted so to let you guys know, we're gonna start doing our live sessions on Sunday nights, 7:30 p.m. If they change, I'll let you know. If they change to 8 p.m., but it'll always be Sunday nights. And I'll put out a post before Sunday night live sessions go live. Today, I'm going to talk about a little bit about some of the things that are going on. Um, I've been building a lot lately. Have a couple of changes in my life. It allows me to have more time at night to build, and still have to spend time with the wife and uh, honeydews around the house and things like that. But I have been able to do some building. I'm building what's called a puss moth. It's a de Havilland aircraft. Was built back in the 1930s. Um, I've been working on the fuselage. I'm pretty much done with the fuselage as of now. And now I'm building the wings up. The plans, I found the plans at my model airplane club. It was great thing about clubs is, everybody has their own little stash that they bring in, and you can you know if you're going to use the plans, if your club has a little area where they have plans put up, make sure you bring them back so somebody else can use them. Even if there's not a lot of guys that build, maybe somebody wants to look at the plans and see a building something. These are the wings. It's supposed to be this one was for the model itself. I guess it's a 2-channel radio design, but I've decided to make the wing a little bit more straight. I'll probably put maybe just 1 degree of dihedral in the wing, or 2 degrees, and I'm going to have ailerons on it. So it's a very large aileron. As you can see, I've got it cut out right down here on the bottom, and I've got the holes in the ribs cut out for the servo. So still working on that, and see how that goes. Also behind me, as you can see behind me, also as I spoke in the last video, I have the Liberty Sport that's still being worked on. Off and on, I work on both aircraft at the same time. I bought my first Lemon Gen 2 receiver. I put it in the Spitfire, which I'm sorry, you see right above me. I changed out the receiver that it had inside, which was a Spectrum AR 63 6A receiver. It was an older generation. The reason I changed it out was because I was having problems binding it to my Spectrum receiver, my Gen my this one. I was having problems binding it. It was binding, and then it wasn't working into safe mode. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to give these lemons a try. I've heard some really good things from other people. So I went online onto Motion RC, and I bought one. This is the lemon receiver. If you can, here we go. As you can see, it's got stability control, which is more like a wind mitigation. Um, the instructions, it doesn't come with instructions when the receiver is sent to you. You have to print out the instructions. The instructions are printed out. Once you print them out, you have to read through them and follow the instructions accordingly. And it'll help you mitigate the wind and help the plane kind of be stable in the wind. I flew it on a pretty windy day. It really worked well. If anybody who's ever watched this channel watches also Fat Guy Flies RC, also he has one on his Free Wing Panther, Free Wing Cougar. He did a good maiden flight, and it actually helped out in the stability control. It comes with a gyro built in, so it helps out. It does not have safe. Okay, only Spectrum receivers have safe built in. This one has a gyro, so it'll help you fly the plane and keep it leveled when you have windy days. So if you're coming from east to west and your wind is coming from the north or wind is coming from the south, it'll help keep the plane stable and not, you won't have all this waving around too much. The flight was good. You can actually check out the flight on here on the YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description box below if you haven't seen it, of my RC flight with the Spitfire. I'm very happy with it. The 7-channel, it's DSMX compatible. It's a telemetry receiver with gyro stabilization. You can see it there. Let me see if I can. That's it. And then it's $33 if you want to get it. It is a good buy. You know, Spectrum is a great receiver. They put out some great products. But the problem is that for us guys that are trying to keep the hobby a little cheaper, Spectrum really has to do something about that, because they're charging an arm and a leg for some of these receivers. $79. You know, it's an $80 receiver. You know, that's RC airplane model money. You know, but I'm going to tell you right now, I am going to get one because I want to get it for the Liberty Sport when I do fly it. Because again, it comes with safe mode, and when it comes with the safe mode, I need it for that plane, just so I can have it edged out a little bit. I don't want anything happening to that plane when it's on its first flight. So let's talk about, you know, Fat Guy had the Cougar that he test flew. I just watched the video. You know, if not many people probably know, the Cougar was the second generation of the F9F. It was the Dash 8 model. It actually came with, it was actually built after the Panther, hence the name Cougar. The F9F was a straightforward design. It was the very first Grumman style aircraft to come out for the Navy. When the aircraft came out, it had straight wings. The F9F Panther had straight wings. It had straight wings with wingtip fuel tanks because the engine was very thirsty for fuel. The motor was an upgraded motor on the Cougar. And also on the Cougar, it employed swept-back wings. So it had swept-back technology. Now, the Panther first flew in 1947, just after the war. It flew during the Korean War. And when it flew during the Korean War, they used it a lot for attacking munitions, ground support. It had 4 guns in the front, in the nose. The Panther did not have guns in the front. A lot of the aircraft, some aircraft did come out with guns in the front, and some did not. It started to employ it. The Cougar did not see combat in Korea. Some people maybe differ on that information, but the Cougar did not see combat in Korea. The aircraft's first flight for the Cougar was in 1951, and it was introduced into the Navy arsenal in 1952. There were over 1,900 aircraft of the Cougar built. Sorry, I'm trying to find which engine did it have. So the Cougar had implemented in technology and missiles and bombs, but it was really meant as to be a fighter and be more of a missile platform. It was refitted. So the Blue Angels flew the Panther first, then they got into the Cougars. If you guys want to see the difference between the two, I got a picture right here. Oh, we got too much feedback on that. Yeah. Put that right there. So you can see right here is the Panther. with the straight wings, and the Cougar down below. So it was a really different aircraft. The aircraft that's on top here is a what some Navy pilots would call the gutless. That was the Cutlass. Wasn't really a great plane to fly. It was an underpowered engine, and it really didn't last very long. The Panthers lasted. They were only built. There was a very few amount of Panthers built. There was only 1,300. 1,400 examples made of the aircraft. And that aircraft actually saw service with the Argentine Navy. The Argentine Navy held on to their Panthers for a very long time. The Cougar also flew with the Argentine Navy before it was eventually retired. So the Cougar's a really cool plane. If you want to fly period-looking jets, Freewing makes it over there at Martian RC. You may want to get that model. It does come now. Something that I saw on his video, the aircraft being shown with afterburner. The Cougar didn't have afterburner. The original Cougar just had a regular turbofan jet. It really didn't come. I mean, you could dump a load of fuel into it and make that burning effect in the back, but it really didn't have. It looks cool, but if you want to stay scale, like me, I'm the type of person that likes to fly with scale. That aircraft did not have afterburner. It was just a regular turbofan. The aircraft, the operational history with that aircraft always flew. I don't believe it even had Mach 1 capabilities. It was close to a Mach 1 fighter. It got as fast as basically an F-86. The Panther and the Cougar both had, the Cougar had the same landing gear as the Panther. Some of the same body parts from the Panther rolled over into the Cougar body. The only difference is the Panther had no guns in the nose. The Cougar had no guns in the nose, and the Panther had. It's really hard to distinguish the two before. But the Panther had guns. Cougar did not. Panther carried rockets and bombs, which were iron bombs. The Cougar carried, I think it was the first aircraft to really integrate missile technology, like the first Sidewinders that came out, which weren't really that reliable at that time. Cougars did not see action. They stayed in the military for a short period of time before Vietnam. And once Vietnam came around, you really didn't see Cougars in that theater of war. If it was put up against, I think if the Cougar was put up against the MiG-15, it probably would have lost. Again, without those guns in the front, the MiG-15 or the MiG-17 would have eaten the plane alive. Technology was changing so rapidly, so the Navy basically upgraded to that aircraft. But I just wanted to give you guys a little brief history on the Cougar and how the Cougar and the Panther were similar. When I was in school, I actually got to work on a Panther for a little while. Bradley Air Museum had one in their inventory. And at our school in Connecticut, we were painting the aircraft. During lunchtime, I used to go up inside the plane and sit inside the airplane. It was really cool. Plane's really big. It was definitely a Grumman Ironworks aircraft. But that's really about it about the Panther and the Cougar. There are two companies that put out models of the Panther. One company does put out the model of the Panther, and I think it's E-Flight. Motion RC does have it, a smaller model with a little. You can have it with wheels or without. You can pull the wheels off and have it launched. The Cougar is made by Freewing. It's a bigger model. You're looking at about, I do believe it's $489 for that aircraft. Let's take a look, right? We can actually look here. RC models, go to airplanes, new RC planes. Let's see if they have it here. Hold on one moment. I'm trying to see if they have it where I can see one. I think it was $489. That's what I did see for that jet. RC planes, jets. Here we go. So yeah, the Freewing has the F9F Panther. It's a 64 millimeter aircraft. Here is here it is. I do apologize for the. Let me turn off this light here a little bit. There you go. Yeah, that's the Panther. It is a 64 millimeter. It takes a 4S, and it's an EDF. It's electronic ducted fan. You can use an 8-channel transmitter on it. It's $129 if you want to get that aircraft. It's a small jet. I think the wingspan's about that long, and the body's probably about that long. So I've seen some guys flying them up at the club, and you know it's a cool little flying plane. It flies around pretty quickly. And then if you want to get the Cougar, let me see. I did see the Cougar on sale here. Wow, they got a lot of legits here. Yeah, I do believe the Cougar is a little bit more expensive. You're looking at about $489 for that aircraft. But I'll put a link in the description box below to Fat Guy Flies RC, his first video of the Cougar, and you can actually see it's painted up in the navy colors of gull wing, gull colors, which is kind of like a tannish gray color. And then the body is white, and it's got very colorful lights on it. But he has a really good time flying the plane. Also in the news, if you guys haven't heard, there was a really bad accident in Clearwater. Pilot flying a Beechcraft Bonanza V-tail. Reports are not clear on what happened exactly. The reports are clear that the aircraft called air traffic control saying that he was having issues. One report was actually saying that he had problems, motor problems, and he was trying to make it to the airport. He did not make it to the airport. He ended up crashing into a trailer park home, killing the 2 occupants inside the trailer park. God rest their souls. And the pilot was also killed. The V-tail Bonanza was always known as a plane that really had a pretty bad, that aircraft had a pretty bad safety record. Eventually Bonanza redesigned the aircraft. I'm sorry, Beechcraft redesigned the aircraft and turned it into the Beechcraft Bonanza. They changed them to vertical and horizontal tails instead of V-tail. A lot of people nicknamed them the doctor killers because a lot of doctors bought the plane because it was really fast. It was a revolutionary design for that time. You could buy a civilian aircraft that really looked cool and it had a V-tail on it. But Beechcraft, after having so many accidents, they made a plug where you could bring in your Beechcraft and they would pull the tail off and then put the new horizontal and vertical stabilizer on the tail, and made the aircraft a little bit I think they made the aircraft much better. But yeah, the V-tail, that was the Bonanza. It was a V-35 that crashed. The end numbers, I'm not going to put anything in that. So God rest the souls of all 3 that passed. And I pray for their families. Other than that, also then there's a couple other things that happened overseas with some other aircraft. I guess some people haven't seen that video of that one aircraft that came in. It was I think an A320, A321, and I guess he skidded off the runway. It looks like he's bogging down the runway, going over the embankment and different taxiways. He was able to get back onto the taxiway and taxi to a safe distance. Other than that, that's really much. I haven't really seen too much. If I put out some videos of some airplanes that I've flown. As you can see, I have a couple of videos out with my A10 right here. Here it is with the A10. I'll tell you right now, that's the free wing A10. It flies really nice. I'm still trying to work out the bugs. When I make banking turns, it starts to wiggle a lot. I turned it down a little bit. It doesn't do that as much, but I'll tell you right now, you blow through a battery in 3 minutes. It's fun to fly the plane, but if you're full throttle all the time, you're going to blow through it in 3 minutes flat. If you throttle back, when I'm flying, I'm always conservative. I always throttle back to about 50%. That's enough to still keep you between 50 and 65%, 60%. Just enough to keep you in the air. I can stretch the battery time to almost 4 minutes. I'm going to try and do it next time. But yeah, I've gotten about to the point where the 3 minute flight will have about maybe 35% battery. But you don't want to blow through all your battery power when you're flying. You always want to have some left over in case you have to do a round, a go around. With the A10, you have to be careful with bouncy landings. You can end up collapsing the landing gear. It's pretty flimsy. I don't know what it's like on the E-Flight model or the bigger aircraft, the bigger A10. Unfortunately, that's just a plane that's a little bit out of my price point. If anybody out there wants me to review it and wants to send me one, contact me, send me an email. Other than that, I got some other projects working. Like I said, I'm working on that on the Liberty Sport. I'm working on the Puss Moth, and that's really about it. But please join me again next time. We'll be here again next Sunday. I'll maybe talk about a little bit more about history. Today was our first video back up, and it'll be every Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. Join me here, and I hope to see you all out there flying again. I'm hoping that weather is great for y'all wherever you are, and if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the description box below in the comment sections. Other than that, we'll talk to y'all later on the next time. Next week, I think I'll talk a little bit about history. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about the Vietnam era aircraft. I'll pick a plane and we'll talk about it. Again, Model Man Frank here, and I appreciate y'all joining me. If you're rewatching the video, please like and subscribe the videos. Have a good night. Model Man Frank out.